Hi, it's Teresa, the Smoking Hot Cigar Chick. I'm here at the XIKAR lab, headquarters and lab, with Scott Almsberger, and today we have a very important subject to touch base on that's, vital to any cigar smoker, and that's how to keep your humidor ready and prepared to keep your cigars right.
That's right. It's very important to keep your cigars humidified at 70%. If they drop below 70% and rise above 70%, then you're going to have shrinking and swelling of your precious cigars. The oils, all the flavor, it's really dependent upon staying at or near 70%. So what we have here are products designed to keep your humidor at 70%. We have humidification devices in different sizes, the crystal jars, 2-ounce, 4-ounce humidification units that you put in the lid of a humidor, like so. 50 count, 100 count, 250 count.
Now, when you get your actual humidor for the first time, there's certain steps you have to take to actually get it ready before you put these in, correct?
That's right, that's right. There is a myth out there that a lot of people talk about. You hear seasoning the humidor, and you need to wipe down the interior of your humidor, or some people actually pour a little water in there, distilled water, and then kind of move it around. And I had heard this, and I must admit that in the very early days before I was educated, I had actually done that to a humidor. It's really bad for a humidor. The interior of a humidor is Spanish cedar. It's a delicate wood, it's very aromatic, and when you wipe it down with water, you are just soaking that wood, creating all the fibers in the wood to raise up, creating uneven areas, warping, all sorts of problems. It also creates a very humid environment, way too humid for cigars. You're going to see 90% humidity levels if you wipe down the interior of your humidor. The best way to season a humidor, to get it started when you first get a humidor and you want to add your cigars, just take one of the humidification units. So these, all you have to do is take the white cap off. Inside is pre-humidified or pre-filled crystals, and just place it in your humidor and close it up, and within 36-48 hours you're going to have 70% humidity. It's a slow, reliable way to season your humidor.
Is there a way to test that so you know when everything's actually calibrated properly?
Yes. We have two digital hygrometers. So when you take your digital hygrometer out of one of the packages, you just take the tab, pull it, which will engage the battery. So then it comes on. So it has a calibrate function and a centigrade Fahrenheit function so that you can switch back and forth between centigrade and Fahrenheit. So you're seeing that right now, out of the box, in this room, we're reading about 45% humidity, which in Kansas City this time of year is about right. But just to make sure that this is reading properly, we do a salt test calibration. So salt, normal table salt, is 75% when humidified. So you'll just take a cap, and you can use the cap of your crystal jar, you can use a cap of a 2-liter bottle or water bottle, anything just to hold a little bit of salt.
It doesn't matter how much surface area you're using? Not
really, because you're going to put this digital hygrometer in a little Ziploc bag, and there's not a lot of air contents. So you're going to put your unit inside, face up. You're going to add just a little bit of water to your salt. So you want it to be wet without standing water, and wet enough that there's no dry salt. So it looks like I've added a little bit too much water, so the easiest way to take care of that is just to add salt until it soaks it all up.
Perfect.
So if there's too much water, if there's standing water, then you're going to be getting humidity over the 75%, which is humidified table salt. So place that in the bag, seal the bag, and after about 4 hours you're going to see the humidity rising. It may not rise exactly to 75%, so you push the calibrate button, which takes it to 75%. now you know that digital hygrometer is calibrated.
Fantastic. And I'm a big fan of the digital too. I know some humidors come with already with one of the analog types, and I found, having multiple humidors, one will be 45, one will be 65, one will be 85, but the digital will actually read it even.
Right.
And I'll have to change that manually. Have you found the same?
Digital hygrometers are much more consistent, much more reliable than the analogs. There are some analogs out there that are used in some industries, but they're very, very expensive. Those tend to work very well, but you just don't find them. They're not really available. So for the price point, ours retail for $25 or $30, depending on the model. You can't go wrong. They work very well. Simple, easily available watch battery that you can replace after a year or two. But
yeah, because I know that scared me the first time I saw that. I was like, oh my gosh, my humidor is at white, but the cigars are perfect. I don't understand. It was just that it was off.
Most of the time when we deal with somebody who thinks that their humidor is not at the 70% humidity, it's either going to be a situation where they seasoned it by wiping it down with water, and then they complain that their readings are 85, 90%. That's what you're going to get when you season it by wiping it down. Or that they're not using a good humidification unit, or most often they're not using XIKAR PG solution. So many of the products out there on the market aren't designed to hold your humidor at 70%. Many products are 50-50. You'll see that a lot. 50% propylene glycol, 50% distilled water. The problem with 50-50 is propylene glycol doesn't evaporate. So propylene glycol, it is a food grade FDA approved product that they use in cosmetics, they use in food, they use in smoke machines. If you start to look at the ingredients of many things, you'll be surprised to see propylene glycol. It's used in many, many products. The interesting thing about propylene glycol, when used in the correct formula, it will keep your humidor at 70%. It's really, really easy to use. You use your propylene glycol solution in your humidification unit every time. It makes it very easy to keep your humidor at 70%.
So it's no fuss, it's very easy.
No fuss, no muss. You just take this unit, you can see that the crystals have started to shrink a tiny bit, and you just add a little bit of the PG solution. These gel crystals absorb 450 times their weight in water. So what you have inside any of the humidification units is 99% PG solution, which allows that to work very well. Many of the other humidification units are a foam-based humidification unit. They're taking up 50%, 60% of the interior volume of that humidification unit, so you're just not able to get as much in here. You're going to have to refill them more often. It's hard to tell when you need to refill them. This is designed to be very easy. You can look at it quickly, easily, and tell, I need to add a little bit more of the PG solution. So all of these units, they have these acrylic gel crystals. Use it with your XIKAR PG solution. When you first get one of these humidification units, take it out of the package, you'll notice that the crystals are dry. We ship them dry, and it's only taking up a small amount of space inside. So once you fill it, it's going to swell, absorb all that PG solution and fill the entire contents. And then when it's applied to the top lid of your humidor with this very, very strong double stick foam adhesive tape, it stays in place.
Oh,
so it's got a magnet. You can easily then take it off the lid, add a little bit more PG whenever it does dry out. It all depends on how often you open your humidor, what the humidity level is in the environment. If you're in Arizona and it's 10% humidity and you open your humidor 3 times a day, you're going to have to fill it more often than say, Kansas City in the summer when we get to enjoy 80 to 90% humidity.
We get it too in Texas. And you'll be able to tell when you need to refill it just by the consistency of the shells inside.
Right, it's going to shrink down, you know, and you can see that they just basically dry up and they take up very little of the interior space. They also have an amazing ability to bring the humidity down. Let's say somebody does season their humidor the old-fashioned way by wiping it down or pouring water in, you get 90% humidity with distilled water. If you were to put our humidification units inside the humidor with our PG solution, you're going to achieve 70%. It's going to pull the humidity out of the air. It's going to bring it down. So it's a two-way system.
Fantastic. Is there recommendations for how full your humidor is? How many cigars you take? Does that interfere with keeping a proper humidity maintained in the humidor?
Usually, kind of like a refrigerator, they work better when you have a good amount inside. So I would say it's always nice to have a lot of cigars on hand. 50% or more is good. You have the ability with these jars, if let's say you have a 100 count humidor or 250 count humidor and you got a tray and multi-layers, I always like to put a jar on the bottom and then the other humidification unit up in the lid, so then if you have trays and layers of cigars, you're assured of getting equal distribution of that humidity.
Beautiful. It's a big concern of mine because mine, it goes deep with all those shelves and at the top. I mean, even with the blower, those little things that I've tried. This I like better. It feels easier to maintain. I'm not so nervous.
Right, right.
It's the worst trying to dig in for that aged cigar and find out, oh no.
Right. It is very, very easy. The propylene glycol, it's antifungal. It wants to achieve 70%. It's going to keep it very close to 70%.
That's beautiful. That's the goal. That's what we want.
We also have small humidification units. We call these guys water pillows. They come in a little Ziploc bag. Very easy to use, very good if you have a 3-cigar case, pocket case, or a travel humidor. All you have to do is add a little PG solution to these guys. Again, they're filled with these crystal gels. They absorb 450 times their weight in water. So this will swell up. You just put it right back in that little Ziploc bag that's right here. Now this Ziploc bag has a couple of holes at the bottom to allow the humidity to travel outside, and then you put this in your travel case. You can put it in a Ziploc bag. The other digital hygrometer that we have is the slim rectangular unit, and it's the same system. Little tab you pull out, turns the unit on. It also has a min-max feature, so it will show you the minimum and the maximum over a period of time that your humidor has seen. That's a nice feature that a lot of people are very interested in. They're away for 2 or 3 weeks on vacation. They come back, they kind of want to see, hey, what's been going on inside my humidor.
That's great.
So this unit is basically the same system, just offers that additional feature.
What do you recommend placement of the digital piece compared to where do you test it by placing it in different areas of your humidor, especially if you have a larger humidor?
You can do that. If you have a couple of different units, you can put them in different places. If you have one, you can put it in the bottom for a day and see what it says, and then put it up here on top of some of the other cigars. Most people just put them, you take the adhesive tab off, just like the humidification unit, and you place it right in the lid. And then if you need to change the battery, you take the battery door cover off and then put it right back in.
Keeps everything elegant and clean too. All right, now we know how to take care of our humidor, and I have to say I'm so happy of how simple and 2 steps.
Very easy.
So simple.
Amazingly easy.
And no worries whatsoever to keep that great smoke. Everything. XIKAR has something for everything to maintain that experience in your cigars.
That's right.
And cigars too now.
And cigars too.
But more on that later. Thank you so much, Scott.
Thank you.